So this first story is from someone I've been working with for quite a while. And, I knew them during this whole saga. And I know how they speak about it now, and I knew how they spoke about it before. We are always told, and he was told, we're all told, oh, you gotta get some pussy, bro. Like, oh, it's gonna change your life. It's so amazing. Gotta get laid. You're a virgin, you're a loser. All this stuff. So, he took the bait. And he found this girl through a friend. And they ended up doing it. That was his first time. Not her first time, as he would find out later. She had been around the block quite a bit. Okay, but he didn't know that at the time when he went in. And when he decided to go in, he got attached. It's like, oh, I lost my virginity, this girl. And you get the soul tie, it's like, oh, I love her so much. And he started making decisions based on that. He started saying, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna, stop. I'm gonna pay for everything. And his life wasn't put together this way. He didn't have a car. He didn't have a house. He didn't have any of that stuff. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna live with her and her parents. And, I'm gonna just forget about the car because I can just take her car. And I'm gonna get a job, but I'm gonna do a job so I can pay for stuff in a relationship. And he did that for about 3 or 4 years. And I knew him this whole time. Maybe 2 years. I think 3 is exactly. I think it's 2. Maybe 3. I think it's 2 though. And this was during his important years of his life. This was when he was late teens, early 20s. Okay? And he deprioritized everything because of his relationship. Because he felt so sucked in. Pause. Double entendre. But what ended up happening is that because this girl wasn't good for him, because he was just in it to get some coochie, over time the relationship started degenerating more and more and more and more. And they broke. He essentially got cheated on. And when he got out of there, he basically was set up to fail. He didn't have a car, didn't really have a stable job, he had to move down, so on and so forth. And he felt this void within him because he lost his virginity to this girl. And to fill this void, he ended up getting with escorts, which is a nice way of saying a hooker. And these hookers were stinky. Okay? There is no good hooker, but you know what I mean when I say good versus bad. Okay, these good ones are like, okay, at least they're hot, but these ones not so much. He got catfished. And when you lose your virginity, you lose a part of that innocence, and you lose a part of that drive. Okay? If you realize there's a lot of success associated with virgins when it comes to history. It seems like when people are either in a long state of celibacy or just virgins in general, they're able to be more successful. It's because their sexual energy is not getting pulled in these different directions. Their sexual energy is channeled towards one goal, one idea, right? So they're able to give love to that idea. That love they would have had for that girl, that quote-unquote love that they don't actually like with the G and Cooch, that would go towards ideas, go towards goals, and they could grow it. And because the sexual energy was getting destroyed so much all over the place, he ended up in that, right? And it ended up being an addiction he would deal with for a very long time. And had he had just known, let's say, for instance, what I talk about, he would have avoided that. And you, in your case, I don't know what your position is exactly, but if you were even considering losing your virginity, understand that it's going to come with consequences you're not ready to pay for. Okay, unless you're getting married and you have your life together. And that actually relates to the second story from someone else I've worked with. And he's younger. Right? He had the idea of like, I want to get coochie and whatnot. And, he went on a lot of dates and whatever. It's high school, so it's like the dates aren't real dates, but, it's just a guy going out with a girl and whatnot, right? And he, it's his whole mystique of home to lose his virginity, right? He went into her house, her parents weren't home, and he started getting down. Alright? I'm not going to go too far into detail on that part. But it started going down with it. And we felt so empty during the time. It's like when something isn't all it's cracked up to be. Because imagine when you're a kid and you're like, oh, I'm going to eat a whole tub of ice cream. And then you get down to like halfway and you're like, oh, I feel like crap. That's kind of the dynamic that was at play. But instead, he didn't even enjoy any moment. The only part that was enjoyable in that frame of mind he was at that time was the lead up. The actual process wasn't enjoyable at all. Didn't enjoy it at all. And afterwards, he was done. They just looked at each other, the guy and the girl, and were just like, just so awkward. Unspeakably awkward. And eventually, he left. And he just looked himself in the mirror, and he felt so perverted, so dirty. Felt like he just didn't want to exist anymore. Just wanted to undo it. He just wanted to banish it all away. Just no, never again. Don't want to think about it. He wishes to this day he got rid of that whole incident from his mind. And of course, he never talked to the girl again because, nothing could be more awkward than a first bad sexual experience. Okay? The total emptiness. And his third story is going to be the one that is, if you don't think lust is a problem, this one's going to completely change your mind. Right? Even if you think lust is a problem, you're not going to understand how deep it is to this one. So, this one doesn't actually involve sex. But it involves something, you can at least come up with positive things, positive thoughts about having sex. What happened to this person? There's no positive thing to think of. Okay? Don't worry, everything I say will be free, but I will suggest very heavily that you join my Discord because you can get one-on-one access with me. You can ask me a question on there. I will answer it in there as of now, at least. It's not too crazy yet. And you also gain access to uncensored information in Discord channel, which I cannot share on YouTube. There's also more general, broad information and niche information on different subjects that are not touched on in this video, most likely. Being said, find that in the description. Let's get back to the video. This person, at night, you would feel intense feelings of lust. And that was because of the voids he had within him, which would get spawned out when this conscious influence was lowered. It's a psychological aspect. I'm not getting too far into that, but in any case, at night he would Snapchat girls. And these girls were apparently just as horny as him, and they would have these freaking conversations. And eventually, it resorted to the point where they're exchanging photos. And these photos weren't just, hey, how you doing? These photos were of his meat. Okay, and assumably her titties and whatnot, right? But eventually, there was this guy that didn't like him. And this guy made a account that was a woman's account. Right? It was catfish. He texted him saying, I really like you. I saw you at school. And they had a nice conversation. Quote, unquote. It was a freaky conversation. Nice to him at the moment. And he sent his meat. And this person who didn't like him spread that rumor all around the school. And his school life got completely destroyed. Because he went from this guy that's cool, to the guy that got his meat leaked. The guy that was weird. The weirdo. Imagine if you just went to school one day and everyone was like, your meat got leaked, bro. They're just laughing at you. Imagine how, way down on you feel. Terrible. That's what happened to him. That's because lust is like curiosity bit the cat. Lust bit the user of lust. Right? Usually I'm a nice, jokey guy, right, in the stream. I make a lot of jokes and whatnot, but a lot of smiles. But honestly, in this case, it's so sad to see all of these young minds be perverted by propaganda, not only from, certain people, but also from their own peers that don't know any better. So I want to make this video talking about the stories too. Give you reminders. Give you things to think about. Things that make you go like, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, these type of things I'm thinking about, these type of things I'm doing, are things I should try and purify. Because I'm not telling you disown these things like, oh, no, okay, sex, no. Because if you do that, you're just moving more towards it. Just like, okay, you know what? I have these feelings within me. I'm going to use them for good. You have to understand that sex before marriage is wrong. These lustful situations are wrong. And they're not wrong in the sense of just, oh, well, it's just wrong and you want to do it, but you can't do it, screw you. It's wrong in the sense of it's not good for you. It's not good for you. It's your own self-interest. Be selfish. Okay, be selfish right now and say, I am not going to have sex before marriage. I am not going to fall into these dumb, lustful things. Do it for the selfish reason, if not anything else, because ultimately, our number one priority in life, our number one obligation is to save our souls, right? And part of saving your soul is getting closer to God, and these things move you farther away from God. So if you're not going to do it for the, I'm going to do it for this reason, if you're not going to do it for that reason, do it for the selfish reason, if anything. Anything but falling into this trap of lust, because I work with people personally, deep psychological confessions. It's not the stuff you want to see happening with people. And I thank God that I haven't. I gooned a lot, but that's the farthest extent. And that is the farthest extent I will ever go. We wait until marriage. And it's something I always thought about, I wasn't sure about, but, as I became more mature at the age of about 16, I'm 19 now, so it's 3 years ago, I was like, you know what? Having sex before marriage is stupid. It's stupid for the selfish reasons, also stupid for logical reasons, right? So, yeah. The stories will make you never want to lose your virginity, okay? You can lose it after marriage, but before that, don't even think about it, okay? It's not good for you.